Act 4, Scene 1.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves you must translate, 'tis fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while. Ah, mine own lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, and in this brandish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us, had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit. But like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on the pith of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metals base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Oh, Guildenstern, friends, both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go, seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you haste in this. Come, Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Whose whisper o'er the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to his blank, transports his poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Act 4, Scene 2.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet. Lord Hamlet.
Soft. What noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it hence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not my own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir. That soaks up the king's countenance and his rewards, his authorities. With such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape, an apple in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed by the last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, is but squeezing you. And, sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. A knave's speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is, and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is the thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
The body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him. He's loved of the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases desperate grown, by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all. How now? What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, bring in the Lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper,
At supper where?
not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain conjugation of politic worms are eaten at him. Your worm is only your emperor for a diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we all fat ourselves for maggots. Your king, your fat king, your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas.
A man may fish with the worm that he hath eaten of a king, and eat the fish that hath fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven? Send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But if indeed you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs to the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. Thy bark is ready, and the wind at help. The associates tend, and everything is bent for England.
For England.
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewst our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh, and so, my mother. Come, for England.
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard, delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Pray you, make haste. And England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, as my great power thereof may give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports it full, by letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me. Till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys will ne'er begin.
Act 4, Scene 4.
Go, Captain. From me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye, and let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on it.
Sir, whose powers are those?
They are of Norway, sir.
How purposed, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it, nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole. A ranker rate should it be sold in fee.
Why, then, the Polak never will defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 souls and 20,000 ducats will not debate the question of this straw. This is the impostume of much wealth and peace, that inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Wilt please you go, my lord?
Be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time but be sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and God-like reason to fuss and is in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, though which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say, this things to do. So that I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross at earth exhort me. Witness this only. Such mass and charge, let by a delicate and tender prince whose spirit and divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all the fortune. Dare, even for an eggshell, rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw one argues of the sake. How stand I then? That I have my father killed, and mother stained, excitements of my reason and blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause. Not tomb enough continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or nothing worth.
Act 4, Scene 5.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it and botch the words up fit to their own thoughts, which, as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
Good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in an ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sense true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss, so full of artless jealousy as guilt fills itself, in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I your true love know from another one? By his cockle hat and staff and his sandals shown.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you, nay, pray you mark. He is dead and gone, lady, dead and gone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you mark! White his shroud as the mountain snow.
Alas, look here, my lord.
Larded all with sweet flowers, which bewept to the ground did go with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God did you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but we know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray, let's not no word of this. But when they ask you what it means, you say this. Tomorrow, St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning bedtime, and I am made at your window, be a Valentine. Then up by Rose and down his clothes, and up the chamber door, let in the maid that out may never depart more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, without an oath, I'll make an end of it. By just and Saint Charity, alack for 5 for shame. Young men will do it if they come to it. By cock they are to blame, quoth she. Before you tumbled me, you promised me to add the answers. So had I done by yonder sun, and thou hast not come to my bed.
How long hath she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but to weep to think that they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it. And so I thank you for good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close. Give her good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death, and now behold. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he the most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death. And we have done but greenly in hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself in her fair judgment, without the which we are pictures or mere beasts. Last and much containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death, where in necessity of matter beggared will nothing stick our person to arraign in ear and ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this, like to a murdering piece in many places, gives me superfluous death.
Alack, what noise is this?
Attend. Where's my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. The ocean, overpeering of his list, eats not the flats with more impetuous haste than young Laertes in a ride his head, or bears your officers. The rabble call him lord, and as the world were now but to begin, antiquity forgot, custom not known, the ratifiers and props of every word, they cry, choose we Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applaud it to the clouds. Laertes shall be king. The ratifiers and props of every word, they cry, Choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applauded to the clouds. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this is counter, you false Danish dogs.
The doors are broke.
Where is this king? Sirs, stand you all without. I pray you give me leave. I thank you. Keep the door. Oh, thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlot even here between the chaste unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth hedge a king that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why art thou thus incensed? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence, let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world. And for my means I'll husband them so well they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father, is written your revenge that swoop-stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser.
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends thus wide I'll open my arms and, like the kind life-rendering pelican, repast them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it, that shall as level to your judgment peer as day does to your eye.
How now? What noise is that? Oh, heat. Dry up my brains, tears 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid with weight till our scale turn the beam. O Rose of May, dear May, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh heaven, is it possible a young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefoot on the bier. Hey, nani, nani, hey, nani. And in his grave rained many a tear. Very well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a down, and you call him a down. How the wheel becomes, it is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
Oh, there's a rosemary that's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there is pansies, that's for thoughts.
Documented madness. Thoughts and remembrance fitted.
There's fennel for you and columbine. There's rue for you and here's for me. We call it herb of grace so Sundays. You must wear the rue with a difference. There's a daisy I would give you violets. They withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. Our bonny sweet robin is all my joy.
Thought and afflictions, passion, hell itself she turns to favor and to prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He will never come again. His beard was as white as snow. Oh, flaxen was his bow. He is down, he is gone, and we cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul. And of all the Christian souls, I pray you, God. God be with you.
Oh, do you see this? Oh, God.
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, for you deny me right. Go but apart. Make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy sword, nor hatchment o'er his bones, no noble rite, nor formal obstination. Cry to be heard, as 'twere from heaven to earth, that I must call it in question.
So you shall, and where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
Act 4, Scene 6.
What are they that would speak with me? What are they that would speak with me?
Seafaring men, sir. They say they have letters for you.
Let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee too.
He shall, sir, and it please him. There's a letter for you, sir. Came from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I am let to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of a very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On this instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They've dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I'm to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I've sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou would flyest death. I have words to speak in thine ear, will make thee dumb, yet are they too much light for the bore of the matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine Hamlet. Come, I will give you the way for your letters, and do it the speedier, that you may direct me to him with whom you brought them.
Act 4, Scene 7.
Now must your conscience my acquittance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he hath your noble father slain, pursued my life.
It well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal and so capital in nature, as by your safety, greatness, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stirred up.
Oh, for 2 special reasons. which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they're strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she is so conjunctive to my life and soul that, as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, work like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I have aimed them.
And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that, I hope, will teach you to imagine. How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. These to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character. Naked. And in a postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord, but let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live to tell him to his teeth, thou didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord, so you'll not overrule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit, now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that, in my regard, of the unworthiest siege.
What part is that, my lord?
A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age his sables and his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since, here was a gentleman of Normandy. I have seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback. But this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew unto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse, as had he been encorpsed and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he topped my thought that I, in forgery of shapes and tricks, come short of what he did.
A Norman, was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamorne.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brooch indeed and gem of all the nation.
He hath made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especial, that he cried out 'twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. The scrimers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye if you opposed them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy, that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming o'er to play with you. Now, out of this.
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still. For goodness, growing to a pleurisy, dies in his own too much. That we would do, we should do when we would, for this would changes, and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, our hands, our accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the ulcer, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet, returned, shall know that you are come. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you, bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction off the mountebank, so mortal that, but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon can save the thing from death. That is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think on this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if this did blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I hat. When in your motion you're hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. But stay, what noise?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow grows askant the brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. Therewith fantastic garlands did she make of crow flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. That liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lords, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then, she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds, let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly drowns it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage, now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Act 5, Scene 1. Is she to be buried in Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is. Therefore, make her grave straight. The crowner hath set on her and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be, se offendento. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself willingly, it argues an act, and an act hath 3 branches. It is to act, to do, and to perform. Argal, she drowned herself willingly.
Nay, but hear you, Goodman Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to the water and drown himself, it is, will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Ah, Mary, it is the coroner's quest law.
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of the Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest. And more's the pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There's no gentlemen, ancient gentlemen, but gardeners and dishers and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
Oh, my God. He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What? Art thou the heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? Okay, the scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either a mason or a shipwright or a carpenter?
The gallows maker for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy will and good faith. The gallows does well, but how does it well? It does well to those that are ill. Now, thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. To it again come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Tell me that and unyoke.
Mary, now I can tell.
To it.
Oh, mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it. For your dull ass will not mend this pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker, the houses that he makes last till doomsday. Now get thee in and fetch me a stoop of liquor. In youth, when I did love, me thought it was very sweet to contract the time for my behove. Me thought there was nothing me.
This fellow no feeling of his business. He sings in grave making.
Custom hath made him a property of easiness.
'Tis even so. The hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
But age with his steel and steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I never had such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground as 'twere Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord. How dost thou, sweet lord? This might be the lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse, and when he went beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, even so, and now, my lady's worm, chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. He's a fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. These bones cost no more the breeding but to play lockets with them. Oh, mine ache to think on it.
Pickaxe and a spade, and a shroud in the shade. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is made.
There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his quilities and his cases, his tenures and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to mock him about this scone with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be sometimes great buyer of a land, with his statues, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries? To have his fine paid full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyance of his lands will scarcely lie in this box. Must the inheritor himself have no more? Huh?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and calf skins too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Who's this grave, Sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is made.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do lie in it, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it. To be in it and to say it is thine, 'tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
No man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who's it to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. You must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, this 3 years I have took note of it. The age is grown, so pick that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, and gulls his kibe. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it the day our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was that very day the young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Aye. Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why, because he is mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the man are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, Ian losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I've been sexting here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pox of corpses nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in, he will last you some 8 or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir? His hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep out water a great while. And your water is a sore decayer of your whoreson dead body. There's a skull now hath lain you in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
The whoreson mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for being a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of ranish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This.
Seen that?
Let me see. Oh, alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now, a board in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here, hung on those lips that I have kissed, I know not offable. Where be thy jibes now, your gambols, your songs, the flashes of merriment that were once set on the table and roar? One now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfelon. Now get you my lady's chamber and tell her that you paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come, make her laugh to that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked of this fashion in the earth?
Even so.
And smelt so.
Even so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return. Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
For consider too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot. But to follow him thither, with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it. As thus, Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to dust. The dust is earth. Of earth we make our loam, and why of that loam whereunto he when converted might they not steep into a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned into clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe shall patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But soft a while, here comes the king, queen, the courtiers. As they follow. It was such a maimed right. This just betoken the course they followed did desperate hand fordo its own life. It was some estate. Couch we a while and mark.
What ceremony else? What ceremony else?
Doubtful, but that great command oversways the order. She should, in ground unsanctified, have lodged to the last trumpet, for terrible prayers, shards, flint, and pebbles should have been thrown on her. And yet, here she is, allowed her virgin rites, her maiden instruments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should proclaim the service of the dead to sing a requiem, and such rest to her as peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
Who wants the fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hoped thou shouldst been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, not to have strewed thy grave.
No treble woe fall 10 times treble on that cursed head. This wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, to overtop old Pelion and the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrases of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like the wonder-wounded heroes? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat. For though I am not splintative and rash, yet I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand.
Pluck them asunder.
Hamlet!
Gentlemen.
Good my lord, be quiet!
Why will I fight in rhythm upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag?
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him!
Browns, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, would tear thyself, would drink up easel, eat a crocodile. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine? Shalt face me with a leaping in her grave. Be buried quick with her, and so will I. If thou prate of these mountains, let them throw millions of acres on it, till our ground, singeing his fate against the burning sun, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, and now at mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. Let the cat will mew, and the dog will have his day.
I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet thereby shall we see, then in patience our proceeding be.
Act 5, Scene 2.
So much for this, sir. Now you shall see the other. You do remember all the circumstances?
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the minutes and the bilboes rashly and praise the rashness for it. Let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall, and that should learn us. There's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
From my cabin, my sea-grown scoffed about me in the dark. I groped to find out them, had my desire. Fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room, making so bold, my fears forgetting my manners, to unfold their grand commission. Found Horatio, a royal knavery. An exact command, lauded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health, and England's too, with such bugs and goblins in my life, that that on the supervise, no leisure baited, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe. My head he struck off.
Is it possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. Wilt thou hear now how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus embedded round with villainies, or I could make a prologue to my brains that had begun a play. I set me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it, as our statists do, a baseness to write fair, and labored much. How to forget that learning, but sir, now it did me a yeoman's service. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
In earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should stir her weed and garland wear, and stand comma between their amenities, and make such like asses of great charge, that on the view, and knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less he should those bearers put to sudden death, not striving time allow.
How was this sealed?
Why, even though as heaven ornament, I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of the Danish seal. I folded the writ up and formed the other, subscribed it, gave it the impression, placed it safely. The changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea fight. What was that sequence? No, the Jost already. Thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. What, they're not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and fell in sin's voice of mighty opposites.
But what a king is this?
Does it not, think thee? Stand upon me now. He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election of my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage is it not perfected conscience to quit him with this arm? Is it not to be damned, let this canker of our natures come and further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of his business there.
Will be short. The interim's mine, and a man's life no more than to say one. But I'm very sorry, good Horatio, that till Laertes I forgot myself, for by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favours. But sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know the waterfly?
No, my good lord.
His state is the more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land and fertile. Let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand in the king's mess. 'Tis a choke, but, as I say, spacious in the possession of dirt.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head.
I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
Believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet, methinks it's very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord. It is very sultry, as 'twere, I cannot tell how. My lord, his majesty, bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I beseech you remember.
Nay, good my lord, for my ease and good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes. Believe me an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find him in the continent of what part of gentlemen would see.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you, though I know to divide him in inventorily would dozy the arithmetic of memory, and yet but the yaw neither in respect of his quick sail. But in the verity of extolment, I take him to be soul of great article, and his infusion in such a dearth rareness as to make the true diction of him. His similage is his mirror, and whose else would trace him but his umbrage, nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
The concernancy, sir. Why do we wrap the gentleman on more rarer breath?
Sir?
Is it not possible to understand another tongue? You'll do it, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes.
His purse is empty already. All's golden words are spent.
Of him, sir.
I know you are not ignorant.
I would you did, sir. Yet, in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me well, sir.
You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare him with his excellence. Compare him in excellence. But to know a man well, or to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by then, in his meeds, he's unfollowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but well.
The king, sir, hath wagered him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has impawned, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their signs as girdle, hangers, and so. 3 of the carriages in faith, and are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hills, most delicate carriages, and a very liberal conceit.
What call you the carriages?
And you must be edified by the margin, and you had done.
The carriages, sir, are the hangers.
The phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry a cannon by our sides. What it might be hangers till then. But on, 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, there are signs, and 3 ribble conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this all impawned, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in a dozen paces between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
So, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, it is the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him. I can. If not, I will gain nothing but shame and the odd hits.
Shall I deliver you even so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours. He does well to commend it himself. There are no tongue else's for turn.
This lapwing runs away with this shell on his head.
He did comply, sir, with his dug before she sucked it. That has he and many more of the same breed that I know Drosy ages dote on. They only got to the tune of time, and old out of an habit of encounter and kind of yeasty collection which carries them through and through the most fond and renowned opinions. Do but blow them to their trial. The bubbles are out.
My lord, his majesty commended him to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
I'm constant to my purposes. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready now, whensoever, provided I be so able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in the continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. It is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. But it is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. And if it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man's of aught he leaves knows what it is to leave betimes. Let be.
Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you no wrong. Pardoned as you're a gentleman, this presence knows, and you must needs have heard how I am punished with a sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was Hamlet wronged Laertes? Never him. If Hamlet from himself be taken away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it? His madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot my arrows o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge, but in my terms of honor, I stand aloof and will no reconcilement till by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils.
Come, one for me.
Come on. I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds over the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. But since he is better, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils all have a length.
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup and union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups. Let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the cannoneer without, the cannons to the heavens, the heaven to earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
1,
No.
Judgment.
I hit a very capital hit.
Well, again.
Say, give me a drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Another hit? What say you?
A touch? A touch, I do confess it.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good, madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
It is the poison cup. It is too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come. For the third, Laertes. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton of me.
Say you so? Come on.
Nothing, neither way.
Have at you now.
Depart them, they are incensed.
Nay, come again.
Look to the queen there. Oh.
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord?
How's it, Laertes?
Why, as a woodcock to mine own spring, Osric. I am justly killed by mine own treachery.
How is the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no, drink. The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink. The drink.
Oh, villainy. Ah! Let the door be locked. Treachery. Seek it out.
It is here, Hamlet. Thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour's life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice had turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king! King's to blame.
Point in venom too. Then venom, do thy work.
Go. Oh, yet defend me, friends, I am but hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink of this potion. Is thy union here? Oh, my mother.
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon me, nor thine on me.
Make thee free of it. I follow thee. I'm dead, Horatio. Wretched queen. Adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance that are but the mutes or audience to this act. Had I but time, as this fell Sergeant Death and strict in his arrest, I can tell you. But let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Reward me in my cause to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
So art a man, give me the cup, let go. By heaven, I'll have it. Oh God, Horatio, what a wounded name. things standing thus unknown shall I leave behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and this heart will draw thy breath and pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras with conquest from Poland to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley.
I die, Horatio. Poison quite overcrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but as you promised through the lurking lights on Fortinbras, he has my dying voice. So tell him, with the occurrence more and less which I have solicited, the rest is a silence.
No cracks in the heart. Good night, sweet prince. Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does this drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. O proud death, what feast is toward in thine eternal cell that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
That is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing, to tell him that his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth, that had the ability of life to thank you. He never gave commandment for their death. But since so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars and you from England are here arrived to give order that these bodies, high on a stage, be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, accidental judgments, casual slaughters of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot purposes mistook fallen on the inventors' heads. All this I can truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw on more. But let this same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. For he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royal. And for his passage the soldiers' music and the right of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.
End of play.